Bad RNG. Go to jail. Yeah, like every like fucking M2 home port of a shmup actually has like customizable auto fire. You can choose how fast you fire with the auto fire, and this is important for some games where the speed at which you auto fire controls how fast your fucking rank increases.
Is that Cheryl?
Because some of those games are real funny.
Where are you going? Hey, wait! Stop!
Yeah, with the rail shoot game, Turbo feels a lot more dodgy. I asked this question because I have played some House of the Dead 2 and 3 with like a turbo enabled, and it does in fact make them a shitload easier. I have to imagine, I actually think that might be the reason why House of the Dead 4 is like, you use a submachine gun in that game. And you just hold down the trigger and, like, point. Auto fire is conceptually not applicable to that game.
What is this? What's going on here?
Maybe they were conscious of complaint. Wow, that was a good death. Maybe they were conscious of complaints at that point of people like, damn, bro, I gotta mash this fucking trigger. Especially after 3, with its, like, heavy-ass shotgun.
What's that? Huh, radio. What's going on with that radio? This is not a dream. What's happening to this place?
One of the things I need to figure out how to get going is emulating a Saturn light gun on the computer. Hopefully by way of mouse or something. That's the other thing, is that I'm gonna have, like... I cannot actually play every game I want to play with an actual light gun. Because some games are on consoles that are logistically unfeasible to get going in that way. I do not have a CRT that can accept 60Hz input, is the first limiting factor. And obviously for arcade games that don't have home ports, it's like emulation or nothing in quite a few cases. I played the Beastbusters light gun games by SNK. I've honestly never heard of them. That's a new one on me. Ugh. Investing in a CRT doesn't sound like a horrible idea. I cannot just snap my fingers and make a CRT appear that can accept 60 Hz signals in England. This is where you gotta keep in mind my geographical location. There aren't a wealth of CRTs around here that accept 60 Hz signals, and sellers don't necessarily know what the fuck that even means. Because they're PAL units for PAL systems because I live in a PAL region. I could import a CRT from America, but they're heavy. And because they're heavy, the shipping cost gets very high very quickly. All in all, if I wanted to, like, get a CRT and, like, be absolutely sure it can accept a 60 Hz signal, I'd be looking at quite a bit of coin, like, probably a few £100 minimum. Imagine most CRT sellers today are aware of the niche they're selling to? No. Again, in the UK, if you're buying a CRT, it's assumed that you're using a PAL TV for PAL reasons. The idea that an English person would know immediately that they're looking for a CRT, they're going to expect the English person looking to play American and/or Japanese games on it. That doesn't occur to people at all. I need people to understand that the rest of the world doesn't think about America very much. Like, there are CRTs out there that can accept both, but I don't have one. And I tried to look into, like, a model that would accept both, but it's hard. The documentation is, like, kind of sparse. You kind of have to do your own research. And I have, thus far, not had incredible luck with that. Hey, Princess Kira. Import a CRT from Brazil. Importing from anywhere is gonna be tough. Again, those fuckers are heavy. Like, even the smallest CRT is gonna, like, drive the shipping fee up real fast. And also, plugging a foreign CRT into a UK outlet is gonna be its own arse. And that is assuming it gets here in one piece. It's a lot of hassle for something that's just not that... It's not that important, dude. Emulation exists. A more efficient pathway to this possibility would be to buy a Sinden light gun. But I don't have one, and they're not exactly that cheap either. And I don't necessarily know about the efficacy of a Sinden. Especially in concert with something as obscure as fucking Saturn emulation. I don't know if you even can emulate a light gun on Saturn emulation. How does the Sinden gun work with HDMI input? I don't know. Apparently it does. Like, it's been around for a while. The reviews are generally fairly positive. The broad sentiment is that, yeah, it works. But I couldn't tell you how precisely. I know that it draws a border around the image in order for the gun to sort of, like, triangulate where it is by way of knowing where it isn't. It seems like there's a calibration step on, like, a per-game basis. It seems like there's a way. People have even gotten it to work on an actual PlayStation with, like, a hardware mod. And if they ever release, like, some sort of, like, control box that allows a Sinden to work on a real console, I would almost certainly get one. Because digging out the fucking CRT every time is its own pain in the ass. A bit complicated, and you might have to accept the compromise of me playing on a mouse. Which I do recognize is not quite the same thing. But such is the difficulty. Such is the difficulty of the input method. I think the main frustration people have with the Sinden is that it's not exactly very plug and play. Like, you gotta calibrate and configure it, and you will have to do this on, like, a per-game basis. In that light, using a Wii remote is probably simpler in a lot of instances, and is close enough. That might be another good option, actually. Just map a Wiimote pointer. It's not exactly the same, but it's a hell of a lot closer than a mouse. But also, the Wii remote hurts my fucking hands. Wiimote light gun? Yeah, you can just... The Wiimote works as a pointer. So if you can emulate a light gun via mouse, you can use a Wiimote to act as the pointer, and then you have something that is loosely analogous to a light gun. It's not quite the same, but it'll get you most of the way there. The problem is, again, the Wii remote is small and doesn't really quite have the dimensions of a gun. I find when I play light gun games on the Wii, I have to, like, death grip the thing in order to maintain stability. Maybe the Wii Zapper is a good call, I don't know. Yeah, maybe one of the plastic grips really is the answer, but... I don't know, I've never used them. I'm not sure how much they'd help. What if I become like the weird guy doing all his arcade 1cc's with a Wii Zapper in his hand? What a strange way to play. But it might, and it certainly would be, like, cheaper than the maybe option of the Sinden. And it would certainly be cheaper than importing a fucking CRT and actually getting these games going on real hardware where available. Hi, Zweeble. Although, this being said, I do have a PAL CRT and PAL... like, compatible light guns and a PAL PlayStation 2. So anything that was a light gun game that came out on the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, I can play more or less the normal way, and that covers a lot of games. Like, a lot of shit came out on the PS1 and PS2. That gets me a lot of options. Like Ghoul Panic, which did not come out in America. It also gets me, I think, most of the Time Crisis games. Doesn't get a fucker a single one of the goddamn House of the Deads, though. I'm sure there will be plenty of material to work with, at any rate. I'm none too worried about this, me. Just might have to be creative sometimes. The other thing as well is that the idea is that I'm thinking about this with consideration towards making a video. Fuckface. I'm thinking about this with consideration towards making a video, and I'd probably want to pick the versions that would have the least screen flashing in any case. So I think this is going to be a case where I end up recording on, like, emulator with, like, a controller anyway, because you don't want the screen flashing constantly, right? There are actually some patches out there for PS2 games on emulator that remove the GunCon flash for the specific purpose of not, like, aggravating the player if they're just going to run the game through emulation anyway and use a mouse to emulate a GunCon. That's a great help. Editing around flashes would suck? It would, and to some extent it's also not something I can really help. Some games are just gonna be like that. Like, the only way to play the original House of the Dead arcade is to emulate it, basically. That game has home ports, but they're all a bit shit. Games were flashing back then. Thing is, people played games on smaller displays. So, like, now when a game fucking flashes full bright white constantly, it's on a big screen. And screens in general were just, like, dimmer.
Disagree.
Tiny T. Thank you for subscribing for 3 months in advance. Thank you very much. But obviously now when games are being played on, like, large TVs directly in front of the player, flashing a shitload of colors really quickly is not simply obnoxious, it can be a bit dangerous. I actually did a stream once where I played through a bunch of, like, PlayStation light gun shooters, and I actually had my CRT, like, set up on the desk, and I was playing it with a real gun and what have you. The recording setup for that was insanely fucking complicated, and it kinda sucked in the end. I mean, I had fun, and I think some other people did, but a lot of people complained that, like, shit, the flashing is, like, really aggressive, even though I actually tried to reduce it with a plugin. but the plugin liked to crash, so bollocks. Only so much I can do. Some of these games are just like that. I'm gonna have to fucking tag my light gun game streams photosensitivity warning. No, seriously, do not fucking watch this. Is Time Crisis Project Titan a PS1 exclusive? Yes, it is a PS1 original game. The rare console exclusive light gun shooter. Yeah, Puria's OBS filter is sadly out of date. In my experience, it also crashed a lot. And even when I had it going, it didn't do very well with Vampire Knight specifically. And that sucks, because I like Vampire Knight. When's the Vampire Knight stream? Asked no one. Ever once you see Vampire Knight? I think I have, but it was years ago, so I'm not super confident in that. I might be talking shit. No, I must have, because I beat the special mode. Isn't the last mission of that, like, beat the game on one continue? I know I finished all that shit. Ah, but it's special mode. You can pick up, like, some bullshit items that help. I don't know if I ever did a straight, like, default settings 1cc of the arcade mode. I have no clue. Like, I think I did. I've played a lot of that game. But a long time ago. And I wasn't keeping, like, super good track of these things. What light gun game has the best story? Story is not the strong suit of the genre in general.
You use selective words! What are you planning?
Death Crimson? That may be true. Guessing you can't just get the red liquid and immediately leave to go do sewer skip? You cannot, no. I wish. But, once you're in the hospital, the door locks behind you. Yeah. You know, it really sucks that I'm forced to say this, but, like, light gun game with the best story, probably the Resident Evil ones. Like, Umbrella Chronicles and Darkside, just by way of, like, having a new story. Is it great? No. But it is there. Please open the inventory when I press the select button. Ooh, too spicy. I think I did this last time. Someone mentions too spicy, and I'm like, ooh, too spicy. What a pull. I don't know if it counts as, like, story in the conventional sense, but I really like the characters and dialogue of the Let's Go games. Both Let's Go Jungle and Let's Go Island. I think they're, like, funny on purpose funny. Like, they tell jokes, and they're good jokes, and the delivery is good, and it's a game that makes you laugh. Yeah, like, Sega sat down for that one and was like, what if we were funny on purpose? What if we wrote a funny game and then, like, got some actors to act out, like, the script with comedic timing that is intentional and considered? And then they did, and it was funny, and I liked it. Every third-person shooter is a light gun game if you really think about it. No. No. Untrue. False, actually. Why do you walk to the gate, Harry? Why don't you run? When are they going to make a heavy gun game? They did! It was House of the Dead 3! The gun was very heavy. Yo, games are kind of like gun games. I'm gonna probably, if I ever make this video, I'm probably gonna get questions about, like, what about such and such on VR? And the answer will just be, I don't have a VR headset. I don't care to, they're expensive. Very pricey. Ah! Ah! What a slide, too. Big slide, but no dice. Too far forward. Big slide. Can I ask about House of the Dead Overkill? I prefer the originals? Yeah, sure. What do you want to ask? I mean, I've played it. I thought it was, okay, I guess. Gameplay-wise, I think Overkill is, like, stupid easy. And also very long. That might be a bit too far left. No. In fact, it was exactly the right amount. Have I tried Blue Revolver. I bought it while it was on the Steam sale, but I haven't played it yet. Oh, there I am. My line was a little off, but I somehow corrected. That's my opinion. I think Overkill is alright. I think the game is kind of too easy. The automatic shotgun is really broken, like really aggressively broken. I gotta be honest with you, I'm allowed to feel proud about this. I'm actually kind of surprised I was able to fix that line. Also, my Suro's RNG is piss. This run is decidedly more real, but only barely. Again, the time says minus 56. It's not as far ahead as it looks. But it's, like, real enough that it's worth playing through. That's good RNG. Don't mind if I do.
I disagree.
Happy 88 punchversary.
Moralethicist, thank you for the 88 months. The 88 punchversary. In Japanese internet slang, typing 8 over and over again is often a slang way to denote clapping. Because it sounds like hachi hachi hachi, hachi pachi pachi, which is like the onomatopoeia for clapping. But also it sounds like punchy. So it can be... It can be the number. I'm okay with that. Is it the same category I got second place the other day? No. The other day I got first on Emulator. What placing do I have? I think I have third place in this category. With this skip, I can dream as big as second.
It's a world record!
Emulator is separated only for my ELO. That's the only reason. I mean, the thing is, it would be bigger if it was combined, because then it would be more runners on the same board. Nah, I've changed we should combine the boards, actually. I've changed my mind. Because that way I could have, like, 2,000 points for one leaderboard, rather than, like, 500 twice. Ah! Wall! Oh dear! Question, did I do it for the world record? No, for the ELO. I did it for a few reasons. I did do it for the ELO. I'm not going to say that wasn't part of it. But also, I did it to sort of semi-prove a point. I don't expect it to actually convince anyone. So those guys were always like, why don't you just do the run on emulator then? If it's so easy, and I'm like, okay. So I did. And what? I'm guilty of number go up. I did it for the rating points, dude. How else am I gonna get into the top 300 best speedrunners ever? Nothing else I run is popular enough to get me enough points, dude. Look at my games, bro. Look at what I've got to work with here. Even though I don't think, like, anyone in, like, the history of, like, casual speedrun viewing has ever based their decision of who the best speedrunner is off of, like, the speed stats page. Most people don't even know it exists. It's just something stupid that, like, a bunch of runners found out about and got weirdly fascinated by. It's not even that many people. I think it's, like, just me and the people who talk to me. Because obviously the idea of trying to, like, rank every speedrunner is completely farcical nonsense. But the concept of applying a score to the individual runs, I don't know, it's funny. You get funny results for it. Trying to optimize for the number is dumb and pain. And really, you can't really optimize for the number. The way you optimize for the number is by placing well in popular games, and, like, that's just speedrunning. That's known as just participating in speedruns. Comparing speedrunners, me versus AuthorBlues, but AuthorBlues runs Mario. And I think he's pretty good at it. Like, I can't compare, dude.
So,
The elo from Mario, oh, it's exponential, man. There's nothing I can do other than also learn Mario. Learn Mario when? Definitely never. Time to learn Mario versus Rabbids. You know, a bit of an awkward turn there. Good boat run over, though. Okay, don't stop moving when I let go of the forward button, that's fine. I can run straight into the door. Good at Silent Hill and Search for Reptar, that means you're also good at Mario. Unironically, pursuing a higher placement in Search for Reptar might be one of the more efficient pathways to higher elo. Because that game is very popular, and my ranking isn't terrible. The thing about the way it calculates is that the drop-off for the further out you are from first place is very sharp. Nope. Smell you later. Like, you need to be placing near the top, proportionally speaking, to get much out of it.
I disagree.
Yo, Gaming History Club, thanks for gifting a sub to Haunted Cultivator. Thank you very much. Enjoy the emotes. I don't know why I bother turning off my flashlight here, it doesn't like do anything. Elo conspiracy, get a bunch of bot accounts to ransom random licensed GB game, get world record on your real profile, profit. Okay, funny thing with that, actually. One of the, like, runs contributing to my Elo is, like, a 5-minute run of a game jam game called Shuriken. And the reason for this is that one day, like, a dozen fucking people all submitted runs of the thing, like, simultaneously, and I still don't know what happened there. Like, none of them actually beat my time, so they just, like, buffed the shit out of its standing. Like, I can only assume they all picked it up as part of, like, a 12-hour challenge type deal or something? I don't know. But, like, I woke up one day to more runs in the queue for that game than have ever existed in it, like, its entire lifespan. I was like, what the fuck? What is this? I actually legit thought it was bot behavior for a moment. Because, like, 12 distinct people don't all decide to, like, run the same game within the same time frame with, like, astonishing regularity. But it seemed like, yeah, it seemed like a bunch of friends just picked up a game and, like, speedran it against each other for a certain period of time for fun. Because the runs were all real. They were all different. Near as I could tell, anyway. Yeah, if you guys could submit, like, times for games that I run and have world record in to boost my elo, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Really, the best thing you can do is actually submit runs to the Silent Hill emulator leaderboard right now, because it's exponential. The more people submit Silent Hill emulator runs, that will have the greatest impact. At least until someone beats it. When you have to verify them all, yeah. A small price to pay for bigger elo. It's such a stupid conversation. My gamer elo is important. And no matter how hard I work, I will never be able to dethrone the #1 guy because he has like 10 million points from having the Celeste world record. Oh, the other quirk as well, actually, about that website that I noticed is that obsolete boards do still contribute. So you know how we got rid of, like, the any all board for Silent Hill 1 forever ago? It's still there, though, so Aaron's still getting, like, 300 off it. Hello? My buttons. Bring that board back, top it, then close it again. Another Elo conspiracy, create obsolete boards. It works, is the fucked up thing. Particularly since now that Speedrun.com doesn't let you delete leaderboards, it only archives them. The fucking, the Eileen Cup thing, where I made a temporary leaderboard for that tournament those guys were running, that counts. Even though it's not there anymore, even though you can't see it. Really, the ideal path is a game that you're already kinda good at, gets a big new skip that no one, that, like, not all of, like, the top runners come back and start using, so you can scam your way to a higher placement relative to the effort level of, like, actually playing the game well. That would be exactly what I've been doing with Silent Hill 1, by the way. That is absolutely what has happened here. Dun dun. Oh, I hope that wasn't too far off. Gaming History Club, thank you for the 100 bits. Alright, decent nowhere. Well, maybe don't count my chickens just yet. That was fine. Doing all those plain old runs was part of the Elo conspiracy. Having a high rank in, like, a meme game that a lot of people have played is also such a path. That is an Elo conspiracy for sure. Cool. That might PB. I know it looks really big, but it's not as big as it looks. I think the funniest outcome here is the distinct possibility of PB but not world record. I hit fucking romper skip in a run and all I got was fucking second place. On God. For real. That's very possible. In fact, I think that's very likely. It would move me up, though. Like, I think the possibility of me taking second is reasonably high, but it is very funny to hit, like, the big new skip in a run and still not take the record. It might not be a PB at all, though. It's still unclear how much time this saves in Good Plus. I'm just convinced it's enough that it's worth trying. Every bone in my body crack. It was kind of second try, but I didn't have to. It was like 1.5. I don't know how you want to count it. I didn't get it on my first knockdown, basically. I had to reset the situation, but the second go was reasonably quick. So, not perfect, but not terrible either. The line entering the out of bounds, like the sewers, was also pretty shitty. I'm actually very surprised I managed to bail that out. I might need to practice my line again because I'm fucking that up a lot lately. I'm going like too wide and having to turn back in, and you don't want to do that. You don't have to. Why make it complicated? Just do the line the right way and there will be no problem. This category only has 2 bosses? Yeah, right, it does, huh? Yeah, you only fight... That's right, you only fight, like, Splithead and the final boss, and that's it. Nothing else in between. $31.20. Yep, PB. PB by 5 seconds, but actually not even enough to take second. Bruh. I hit romper skip in a run, and all I saved was 5 seconds. Fuck.